Hello and very welcome everyone to this session of Modern History Previous Year Questions, Part 3rd. Today in this session we are going to discuss some of the questions that has been asked in your exams earlier, and we will see what kind of questions we can expect in the upcoming exams, and we will also see that what are the type of questions we have to practice before we go to exam. So let's start and see what are the things we have in discussion for today. So I've got some particular questions from the independent states. After the Mughal era, a lot of independent states were formed in the India, and they were all annexed by Britishers later on. So we will discuss each one of them. The images used in our slide deck are for educational purpose only. We respect the intellectual property rights of the original creators and owners of these images. If you are the owner of any of the images used in this deck and have any concerns or issues, please contact us at sathee@iitk.ac.in and we shall remove the images. So first question that we have with us is the Battle of Plassey took place on which river bank? A question that you will not see more in the exams, but a good question because sometimes you will get confused. Options are Bhadra, Bhagirathi, Beas or Brahmaputra. And I hope you have answered it right, but if not, so do not get wondered if you will find the answer Bhagirathi. So you would be thinking, sir, Bhagirathi is in Uttarakhand. How could it be in West Bengal also or Bengal also? So basically what happens is when Ganga river enters Bangladesh, when it enters Bengal, the West Bengal, at the Farakka barrage, it divides into two parts. One that flows towards Bangladesh and one that flows inside the West Bengal that flows through Kolkata. And if we talk about the part that goes to Bangladesh, in Bangladesh we know Ganga is known as Padma, but the time from Farakka barrage to Bangladesh, this time particularly the river is known as Bhagirathi. So the Battle of Plassey was fought at Plassey, the banks of Bhagirathi river near Calcutta on 23rd June 1757. This was the turning point in modern Indian history. The battle was a major consolidation of British rule in India. This battle was fought between the English East India Company, headed by Siraj-ud-Daulah, and his French troop. After the defeat, Plassey, Siraj-ud-Daulah was assassinated and Mir Zafar made the Nawab. Mughal Emperor Alamgir II was ruling the empire when the Battle of Plassey took place. So do remember the answer is Bhagirathi. Next question, the Battle of Plassey was fought between the East India Company and the options Nawab of Hyderabad, Nawab of Bengal, Marathas or Mughals. Take your time. And I guess you have figured it out. The answer of this question is Nawab of Bengal. So Battle of Plassey was fought at Plassey, the banks of Bhagirathi river near Calcutta on 23rd June 1757. This was the turning point in the Indian modern history. This battle was a major consolidation of British rule in India. This battle was fought between the East India Company, headed by Siraj-ud-Daulah and his French troop. After the defeat Plassey, Siraj-ud-Daulah was assassinated and Mir Zafar made the Nawab. Mughal Emperor Alamgir II was ruling the empire when the Battle of Plassey took place. So do remember that this was fought between the Nawab of Bengal and the British East India Company. Battle of Plassey in 1757. Who led the army of the East India Company? Very simple and easy question this is. So try to find out the answer, guys, fast. And I guess you have figured it out. The answer is Robert Clive. So Battle of Plassey was fought at Plassey, the banks of the Bhagirathi river near Calcutta on 23rd June 1757. Robert Clive is basically also called as the governor of Bengal. And if we discuss about Robert Clive, so he was the one who is known as the founder of British Empire in India, establishment of British Empire in India. He was also the one who got the control of Bengal, and later on after the Battle of Buxar, he was the one who organized the Treaty of Allahabad first and second. So Robert Clive is the answer. Who fought the Battle of Plassey against the East India Company? Tipu Sultan, Sirajuddaula, Mir Zafar, Alivardi Khan. Take your time. I guess you have figured it out. The answer is simple. The answer is Sirajuddaula. So basically, when we talk about Sirajuddaula, so Battle of Plassey was fought at Plassey, the banks of the Bhagirathi River near Calcutta, on 23rd June 1757. This was a turning point in the modern Indian history. The battle was a major consolidation of British rule in India. This battle was fought between the East India Company, headed by Sirajuddaula, and his French troop. After the defeat, Plassey, Sirajuddaula was assassinated and Mir Zafar made the Nawab. Then Mughal Emperor Alamgir II was ruling the empire when Battle of Plassey took place. Remember, this point is very important. Who was the Mughal Emperor? Alamgir II. And during the Battle of Buxar, who was the Emperor of Mughals? The Emperor was Shah Alam II. When did the British Army under Ayerkut defeat Hyder Ali at Porto Novo and save Madras? July 1780, July 1781, July 1771, or July 1761. So try to find out the answer. The answer is July 1781. So Battle of Porto Novo was fought between Hyder Ali of Mysore and British East India Company. This war came to be known as the Second War of Anglo-Mysore War. Mysore War were the four military confrontations in 1767 to 1769 in India between the British and the rulers of Mysore. So do remember that the answer is July 1781. During this particularly Second Anglo-Mysore War, and it was going on, Hyder Ali died, and after that the leadership of Mysore was handled by Tipu Sultan. Tipu Sultan was the one who fought the Third and the Fourth Anglo-Mysore War and died in the Fourth Anglo-Mysore War in 1799. In the Battle of Plassey, who led the troops to the British East India Company? Neville Chamberlain, Robert Clive, Alan Cunningham, or James Alexander? Take your time. And I guess the answer you are giving is right, because the answer is Robert Clive. So Battle of Plassey was fought in northeastern India on 23rd June 1757. Troops of the British East India Company led by Robert Clive came up against the forces of Sirajuddaula, the last Nawab of Bengal, and his French allies. As a result of War of Plassey, the French were no longer a significant force in Bengal. In 1759, the British defeated a large French garrison at Masulipatam. Today, Masulipatam is found in Andhra Pradesh, securing the northern Sirkars. By 1759, Mir Zafar felt that his position as a subordinate to the British could not be tolerated, and that is why he called Dutch. And that is also the reason that in 1759 one more battle was fought in Bengal, and after that particular battle, that battle is known as the Battle of Chinsura, and after that battle particularly, Mir Zafar was also removed from his post, and his son-in-law Mir Qasim was made the Nawab of Bengal, but he was not able to tolerate the Britishers as well, so the Battle of Buxar was fought in 1764. Which of the following incident took place after the victory of British in the Battle of Plassey in 1757? The port cities of Madras, Calcutta, Bombay were destroyed. No new buildings and institutions were developed. Traders of the British East India Company expanded. People stayed away from the colonial cities of Madras, Calcutta, and Bombay. So try to find out the answer. The answer is trade of the British East India Company expanded. So Battle of Plassey was the victory of British East India Company over the Nawab of Bengal and his French allies on 23rd June 1757 under the leadership of Robert Clive, which was possible due to the defection of Mir Zafar, who was the Nawab Sirajuddola's commander-in-chief. After that, the trade of East India Company expanded. So do remember the answer is trade of the British East India Company expanded. How many wars were fought by the British with Mysore? Very simple question. So try to find out the answer. I guess you have figured it out because the answer is 4. So there were 4 series of wars fought between the British and the King of Mysore. The first Anglo-Mysore War, 1767 to 1769. Second Anglo-Mysore War, 1780 to 1784. First war was comparatively won by Hyder Ali, and in second war was a kind of a draw because Hyder Ali died and Marathas were in favor of Britishers during this time, and Tipu Sultan was handed over the leadership of Mysore, but this was a draw. In Third Anglo-Mysore War, Treaty of Srirangpattam was signed, in which a lot of things has to be handed over to the Britishers by the Tipu Sultan. And the Fourth Anglo-Mysore War happened in 1799. The reason behind this is Tipu Sultan was again trying to empower himself and try to fight the Britishers, but Britishers defied all the things and they forcefully adopted Mysore into their empire. So the answer is 4. Third Mysore War was fought between the years. We just read about it. So try to find out the answer, guys. And I guess you have figured it out. Answer is 1790 to 1792. So Third Anglo-Mysore War, 1790 to 1792, was a conflict in South India between the Kingdom of Mysore and East India Company, including the Nairs of Travancore, the Maratha Empire and the Nizam of Hyderabad. Third Anglo-Mysore War began when Tipu Sultan, the ruler of Mysore, attacked Travancore, an ally of the English and the only source of pepper for the East India Company. War ended with the Treaty of Srirangpattam in 1792, also known as Srirangpattam, according to which Tipu had to surrender half of his kingdom to the British East India Company and its allies. So do remember the answer is 1790 to 1792. Who died in the Fourth Anglo-Mysore War at Srirangpattam? Options are Hyder Ali, Timmaraja Vadiyar I, Tirumala Devarai, or Tipu Sultan. So take your time and try to find out the answer. And I guess you have figured it out. The answer is Tipu Sultan. So the Fourth Anglo-Mysore War was the final conflict of Anglo-Mysore War. It was fought in 1798. So the answer is Tipu Sultan. He was the son of Hyder Ali, and after he died, the whole Mysore kingdom was handed over to the Wadiyar dynasty, and they particularly also adopted the subsidiary alliance of the Britishers. Hyder Ali was the ruler of. Very simple question. Try to find out the answer. I almost said it in last 4 to 5 questions that who was the father of Tipu Sultan. So I hope now you have figured it out. The answer is Mysore. So Hyder Ali was a Faujdar at the fort of Dindigu in 1755 and ruled Mysore from 1761 to 1782. So basically Hyder Ali started his journey to become the king of Mysore from being a soldier, a normal soldier. Then he attained the position of general. Then he became the particular king. He fought 2 wars with them. The war were as First Anglo-Mysore War and Second Anglo-Mysore War. After Hyder Ali had died, Tipu Sultan ruled Mysore. So the answer is Mysore. Battle of Plassey and Battle of Buxar established the Battle of Plassey, a British rule over the dash. Options are Odisha, Awadh, Bihar, or Bengal. So try to find out the answer. So the answer is Bengal. So Battle of Plassey was a battle fought between the East India Company headed by Robert Clive and Nawab of Bengal Sirajud-Dowla on 23rd June 1757, in which Britishers had defeated Nawab and laid the foundations of British Empire after Nawab Mir Zafar betrayed Sirajud-Dowla. Battle of Buxar took place on 22nd October 1764 between British East India Company led by Hector Munro and the combined armies of Nawab of Awadh Shuja-ud-Dowla, Nawab of Bengal Mir Qasim, Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II. It was a decisive victory for British East India Company. The war was brought to an end by the Treaty of Allahabad in 1765. In this way, the actual British sovereign was established in Bengal, India, and Lord Robert Clive. The victory at the Plassey became the first governor of Bengal. So the answer is Bengal. Battle of Plassey was fought on. Very simple question. We just read it in the explanation. So try to find out the answer. So the answer of this question is 23rd June 1757. So Battle of Plassey was battle fought between the East India Company led by Robert Clive and Nawab of Bengal Sirajud-Dowla on 23rd June 1757, in which the Britishers and the Nawab laid the foundations of British Empire in Bengal. Battle of Buxar took place on 22nd October 1764 between the British East India Company led by Hector Munro and the combined armies of Nawab of Awadh Shuja-ud-Dowla, Nawab of Bengal Mir Qasim, Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II. It was a decisive victory for British East India Company. The war was brought to an end by the Treaty of Allahabad. This way, the actual British sovereign was established in Bengal, India, and Lord Robert Clive. The victory at the Plassey became the first governor of Bengal. So the answer is 23rd June 1757. Under whose leadership the Battle of Plassey was fought by the Britishers? Options are in front of you. Take your time and try to find out the answer. And I think you have figured it out. The answer is Robert Clive. So Battle of Plassey was a battle fought between East India Company force headed by Robert Clive and Nawab of Bengal Sirajud-Dowla, in which Britishers had defeated the Nawab and laid the foundation of British Empire. Later on, Battle of Buxar took place on 22nd October 1764 between British East India Company led by Hector Munro and combined armies of Nawab of Awadh Shuja-ud-Dowla, Nawab of Bengal Mir Qasim, and Emperor Shah Alam II. It was a decisive victory for British East India Company. The war was brought to an end by the Treaty of Allahabad in 1765. In this way, the actual British sovereign was established in Bengal, India, and Lord Robert Clive. The victory at the Plassey became the first governor of Bengal. Later on, he also became the member of parliament in the Parliament of Britain. But later on, he was also known as the governor of Bengal who committed suicide. Why he committed suicide? Because he was framed with lot of allegations that he has done lot of corruptions and other things. So because of that, later on in his life, he committed suicide in Britain. Murshid Quli Khan declared himself as the Nawab of Bengal, shifted his capital from Dhaka to. Very good question this is. So try to find out the answer. So as we know, as soon as the Mughal Empire ended or were on the verge of being declined, there was a time when a lot of independent states started forming in India. Out of them, one was Bengal. The other ones are like Awadh and Hyderabad also. And when they particularly settled their own independent jurisdiction, so they also changed the capital. So capital during this time was Murshidabad. So Murshid Quli Khan was the first Nawab of Bengal from 1717 to 1727. In 1704, he transferred his capital from Dhaka to Murshidabad. In 1717, he was appointed as the Nawab Nazim of Murshidabad by Farrukh Shiar. So do remember, the answer is Murshidabad. Hyder Ali signed the Treaty of Madras with Britishers, in which they both agreed to help arch against their common enemy. So options are Dutch, Mughal, Maratha, Portuguese, and try to find out the answer, guys. And I guess you know that who was the common enemy. So the common enemy at that time for them was Maratha. So it was a time when Hyder Ali became the ruler of Mysore in 1760. He was succeeded by Tipu Sultan later on. The first Anglo-Mysore War was fought between 1767 to 1769 and fought between Hyder Ali and British, in which Hyder Ali signed the Treaty of Madras with Britishers and against Marathas, so that they can fight against the Marathas and started to decline them. Irony is, in Second Anglo-Mysore War, after the First Anglo-Maratha War, Maratha and Britishers combined together to fight against Mysore. So this was the divide and rule policy, and this was the type of thing Britishers were. So which was the largest feudal states before India's independence? Options are Travancore, Mysore, Hyderabad, or Gwalior. Try to find out the answer, guys. And I guess you have figured it out because the answer is Hyderabad. So Hyderabad was the largest feudal state in India before independence. After independence, this state was included in the Indian Union by Operation Polo in 1948 under the leadership of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. And if we talk about Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, so he was the first Home Minister of the independent India. Third Anglo-Mysore War was ended by which treaty? Options are Treaty of Srirangpattam, Treaty of Purandar, Treaty of Allahabad, and Treaty of Salbai. So try to find out the answer, guys. So I hope you have figured it out because the answer is simple. The answer is Treaty of Srirangpattam. So Third Anglo-Mysore War was fought between British and Tipu Sultan. Tipu was a determined enemy of Britishers. He was trying hard with the British help to make his position strong against Cornwallis. Before the war, British Governor-General, the Third Anglo-Mysore War was ended by the Treaty of Srirangpattam in 1792. As per the treaty, the Tipu had to cede half of his kingdom to the English, including the areas of Malabar, Dindigul, and Coorg. Tipu had to pay rupees 3 crore as a war indemnity to the British. Tipu had to surrender 2 of his sons as surety to the British till he paid his due. So the answer is Treaty of Srirangpattam. Dash is one of the largest palace in India, which is also known as Amba Vilas, and it was also the official residence of Wadiyar dynasty. Options are Mysore Palace, Leh Palace, Matanchari Palace, or Hampi Mahal. So try to find out the answer. And I guess you have heard about it, and you must have seen it in a lot of photos and films and all that. So the answer is Mysore Palace. So Amba Palace or Mysore Palace, one of the largest palaces in India. It is situated in southern state of Karnataka. It is used to be official residence of Wadiyar dynasty. It was the official residence of Maharaja Krishnaraj Wadiyar IV. The Battle of Talikota took place on 23rd January 1565, ended the prominence of Vijayanagar kingdom after the Wadiyar dynasty was established by Tirumal. In 1761, Mysore was established by Hyder Ali. And again, in 1799, after Tipu Sultan died, this particular area of Mysore was again handed over to the Wadiyar dynasty, and they have also signed the subsidiary alliance with the British, and they remained allied with the British for rest of the time. In which city the Tipu Sultan Mosque is located? Mysore, Bengaluru, Kolkata, or Mumbai? Try to find out the answer. It is a good question, guys. So you must be thinking that it will be in Mysore, but the answer is Kolkata. So if the question comes into your exams ever, So remember, Tipu Sultan Mosque was built in 1842 by Prince Ghulam Muhammad, the youngest son of Tipu Sultan, at Kolkata, West Bengal. So remember, the answer is Kolkata. And that's it in this session, guys. I hope you learned a lot of things with me in this session, and thank you for being there. And I will meet you in the next session, in which we will discuss some more questions related to the modern history, and we will see that type of things that can be asked in your exams again. So till then, bye bye, take care everyone, and see you soon.